how can you really know if a company is doing like true AI and not like just AI for the sake of saying that they're doing AI?
Very good question. So I will say that first of all, you are looking at the data science team, and if in the data science team there's like 10 PhD in research, it's a good sign.
Yep. Hey Hanna.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Very good. Super happy to have you on the podcast. The goal of Dive today is to basically demystify what is to basically be an AI engineer. Maybe before diving in, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Hanna, I'm 24. I began my study at University of Paris like 6 years ago. At the origin, I was focused on math and computer science. Then I wanted to do something more practical oriented, and I moved to Paris Dauphine. There it was focused more on computer science really, and it was very all about general courses. I had pretty much all the language and computer science languages and etc. And then I had one introduction course of AI, and basically I fell in love with the field, and I saw all the potential of AI and what I can do with it. And I decided to find a master focus on AI. At this time, there was not a lot of master because ChatGPT was not born yet. Yeah. So I decided to go to Polytechnique to do a 2-year master program. It was between AI and also computer vision, so everything's related to image and videos. And there you have a lot of projects, a lot of internship, and you can basically choose in which industry you want to work. So I decided to focus on healthcare. And so now I can say that I'm an AI engineer in healthcare.
Cool. Maybe to like sort of contextualize this discussion, can you introduce basically the role of AI engineer, maybe versus data scientist, ML engineer? What's the main differences here?
Yeah, for sure. So as an AI engineer, you have like a lot of data processing to do. You need to gather the data that you need to have. You need to process the data, and then you basically have a problem to solve. You have a target to have, and you need to construct basically the neural network for this problem. I will say that data analyst, for instance, focuses more about the data itself, and an AI engineer really focuses on the construction of the neural network. To show you an overview, you have like thousands of different architecture in neural network, and you need to choose the right one to fine-tune it, to optimize it sometimes. So it's 80% of your time focusing on the code, really, and also 20% of your time on the subject and industry. For instance, for my part, I'm working in prenatal diagnosis right now, and I need to understand what is the problem, what the industry need me to do so. So I go to hospital, I talk with doctors, and I really understand the problem before constructing my neural network.
Okay, so that it basically matched what people expect from, from the tool. So you worked in different environments, right? You worked in Mazar, which is more corporate. You worked in MILVUE, which is more startup, and Sonio as well. Yeah. Can you explain maybe what are the main differences between the three environments?
Yeah, so big corporate and startups are really, really different. Yep. I think everyone knows about it. At the beginning, I chose Mazar for one reason, and it's a silly one. It was because everyone told me, okay, you need to go to finance. It's the best thing to do if you want to gain a lot of money. So I said, okay, I will try. I was there, and it was kind of difficult for me because it's really a strict environment. You cannot dress like you want, for instance. You have a specific thing to do. You cannot propose things. Your voice is not really heard by everyone. And then I said to myself, okay, I need to go to a more flexible environment. And I decided to test my first startups, which was MILVUE. So MILVUE work for X-ray, everything related to diagnostics in X-ray. And it was so much fun at the beginning. Even if you are an intern, you have so much responsibility. You are really autonomous. You can do basically whatever you want. You can propose what you want, and you really feel that you work worth the cost. In Mazar, for instance, I don't know. It was like I was lost between all the 1,000 employees in the companies.
Yeah.
It was not the same feeling. And the same thing with Sonio. It was incredible. If my colleagues, for instance, doesn't know that I'm an intern, you will never know, because I have the same work as him. I can propose things, etc. And also, I will say that things goes very fast in startups. For instance, in 6 months, I constructed a whole project. I had the time to write a research paper, which is really incredible in 6 months. In Mazar, it was much more...
different pace, let's say. Can you maybe walk us through a specific project you developed at MILVUE or Sonio, for instance?
Yeah, for instance, in Sonio, I work in fetal weight estimation. So when you are pregnant, it's very important for the doctor to estimate the weight of the fetus. And it's really hard to do so because today the doctor takes some measurement, so the head contour, the abdominal contour, for instance, and it's not really, because it's hand done, it's not precise.
Okay.
So the goal was to say, okay, if we train the neural network on the echography itself, can the neural network be able to really understand things related to the fetal weight, things that doctor cannot see, for instance, or cannot measure really precisely? And we achieved this, and it was a great achievement for this area, and we wrote a paper about it. This work will be presented in January in United States. So yeah,
that's cool. And so, did you get access to data easily? Was it your role to find a sort of partnership?
So this was not my part, because there is actually a great team focusing only on data gathering.
Okay.
And Sonio has a lot of partnership with Necker Hospital, for instance, and other clinics in the United States. So this was much easy. And
so you were directly in contact with doctors?
Yeah.
And did you see the product being sort of implemented in their workflow?
Not yet, because it's, for instance, it's only research for now.
Okay.
It will be implemented this year. But yeah, I had like dozens of doctors that I could talk with. I went to Necker to discuss with doctors, also with the United States. I had the chance to travel also, so it was really interesting. And as I said, for me, it's really important to understand what I'm working for and for who and for which goal.
Cool. So there's a lot of startups claiming that they are doing AI and like posting AI engineers roles out there. How can you really know if a company is doing like true AI and not like just AI for the sake of saying that they're doing AI?
Very good question. So I will say that first of all, you are looking at the data science team, and if in the data science team there is like 10 PhD in research, it's a good sign.
Yep.
Also, in the first interview. In the fit or in the technical interview, you can see if the technical part is really really important. You can ask some technical questions to see if they are working on something really serious or if they are just fine-tuning models. So to explain, fine-tuning is just to take existing model and to arrange it to match for your problem, but it's not really technically difficult to do so. I would say that I'm always searching for a startup that's doing some kind of research. It's not always easy because, as you know, startups need to deliver something, to deliver a project into a market. And so they cannot do only research. But for instance, Sonio, I would say that they are doing half of the time research. So for me, it was a go.
Yeah, it was the perfect, I guess, fit between a startup environment, but still some research being done
exactly.
there. Cool. What's the typical path for someone doing an AI engineer sort of internship or full-time role? How can you grow within the company?
It's a good question because I am still at the beginning of my career. But I will say that in this field we have a chance. Is that we are not a lot in this field, so I think that we can go higher and higher more easily. But as every industry and every job, I would say that you need to make you do a proof.
Yep. So
if you are doing a good job and you are writing a good paper for the company, it will be easier for you to move on. And the good way is to choose startups where you see a good dynamic and you see that people are very engaged in the construction of the startup, and then you have the chance to grow and to to be involved in the construction of the project.
So you mentioned writing papers several times. How do you stay sort of up to date on all the new models coming out and all the sort of vibrant ecosystem around AI right now?
It's kind of impossible to stay up to date with everything. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to focus of what I really do. So computer vision in healthcare, for instance, and I'm trying to read as much paper as possible. Basically, I think I read like 5 paper per week, but it's already a lot because each paper is like 20 pages, for instance, sometimes. So it's really hard. But today you also have like a website which generates a kind of resume of the paper. So it's cool.
What was the name of the website? Do you have it?
No, I don't remember, but I will show you the name. I will tell you the name. And also on LinkedIn, there's like several people who give some update about research. So I also follow this kind of article. But no, you cannot follow everything. It's just impossible. Like, I think there is like 1,000 of paper per month coming out. Yeah. So.
You mentioned LinkedIn. I think you're pretty active on LinkedIn. Is it for you a strategy to like be well known in the space of AI and basically be able to find opportunities to work in AI?
Yeah, for sure. So at the beginning, it was also for fun because I love to stay in touch with people and I love to speak about what I'm doing. And I also have another project, an artistic project that I try to promote. So it's also a strategy for that. But when I began to publish on LinkedIn, I saw all the opportunity coming, and I was like, "Oh my God, this tool is just amazing!" And there is not a lot of people on it who are really trying to publish every day, etc. And I said, "Okay, there is an opportunity if you are really up to it." So I have, I would say, a moment in the week when I try to write all my article. Because it takes a lot of time, actually, a lot of time, and you need to answer to everyone, etc. And I will say that maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour per day, I read everything. I have a pretty good selection of people for research paper, resume, up to date in Gen AI, etc. And so, yeah, I kind of enjoy it.
What kind of opportunities did you get through posting on LinkedIn? Like, is it like meetings with people? Or is it like properly offers?
Lot of things. So yeah, meeting with people a lot. Podcasts like this one to be promoted for my project. So I constructed some kind of conferences about AI and art. So I found client on LinkedIn. A lot of company wants to use AI but doesn't know how it works. They are fear about it, and I come to the companies and speak about that. So it's really cool. And yeah, also keeping in touch with what's happening in the community.
So you have a project in art. Can you like explain what it is exactly?
Yeah, for sure. So 2 years ago, when I was in Polytechnique, I met the photographer of the school, which is Jeremy Barond, and I did a class picture with him, and I saw how it was talented, and I was like, wow, this guy is just taking a picture of people like that. It's not possible. And I said, okay, I need to do something with him. And so I propose him to co-lead a project with me about AI and photographies. So at the beginning, it was just for fun. We took like several SEM around AI. For instance, what is AI? What is specifically a neural network? AI in environment, etc. A lot of things. And I said, okay, we need to put that in art and try to explain all this theme and demystify all this thing around AI with the photography and with art. And so I posted on LinkedIn, and then it was like a big boom. I received a lot of messages. I had several exhibitions. The first one was on Station and then at museum, in school, companies, and it was kind of crazy. So then we continued to develop this project until now. And today I had like 2-3 conferences per month. So it's a format when I bring the exhibition in the companies, and with it I talk about all the things related to AI, and everyone is able to speak with me, and I try to convince them and to explain all the pros and the cons about AI. And it's really cool because this brings me some artistic thing in my job, because when you are an AI engineer, you can be like 800% of your time behind the computer.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to have that.
Something creative on the side. Yeah. Which brings me to my next question, which is what's your next step for you? So you worked in corporate, didn't really like it. The environment. In startups, you really enjoyed it. So what's next for you?
So right now, I decided to pursue in a PhD. Actually, when I'm doing something, I need to be the best for this, and I think that I need to focus more on the technical aspect on AI, really understand deeper what's going on inside. So I will continue with Sonio, actually. So it will be a PhD between Sonio and Sorbonne University and the CNRS. And the subject will be Gen AI for echography to generate some rare disease, some malformation, because there is some malformation in fetal environment. They are so rare that you cannot train an algorithm on this small data set. So we need to generate data. So I have like 3 years of a PhD. And I have also a strong entrepreneurship
mindset,
spirit and mindset. So I think that on the side or after, I don't know, I will try to create a project. But for now, I will begin in February, actually.
So what was I'm interested to know more about the thought process behind deciding to go into a PhD. I'm discussing with a lot of students who are like in between joining a company full-time as an engineer or doing a PhD or building a company. What was your thought process behind it?
Yeah, to be really honest, I'm doing a CIFRE PhD. So that means that I'm working inside a company. I'm not working for a laboratory.
Yep.
So I'm well more paid. And it's very important because after 6 years study, you want to have a good salary.
Yep.
And then when you are working in CIFRE, it's like you have 3 years of experience after that. So on your resume, and even for you, it's very appreciable. And also, I think this is my chance to really go deeper into the technical aspect, because even if you have a full-time job and you are working in research, as I said, startups cannot focus all their time and all your time in research, and they ask you to provide some results, some stuff at the end of the day. The PhD is the only way for you to really focus on research only. And why I am not starting my startups now? I'm 24, and as I said, it's now or never for my research. And I really enjoy what I'm doing in AI. And I just say to myself, I know that I'm capable of creating something. I already created some project, and I know that someday I will create my startup. But that doesn't matter. It will be in 3 years, and in 3 years I will be stronger than now. So it's just for the best.
Cool. And maybe one last question for you. Do you have a final advice for someone thinking about breaking into the AI world, whether it's be like doing an AI master's degree or joining a company as an AI engineer? Do you have a final advice for this kind of people?
I would say so. To find a good company is very important, because what you are doing, for instance, in your internship will really construct your career. For instance, I did my 2 internship in healthcare, and I think all my career will be in healthcare. So you really need to choose well your industry and what you are doing. Also try to have a good background. So I had like Polytechnique, and it helped me a lot to find good internship and to have good contact and good relation. So if you can like choose a good school or even a good master like the MBA or something else, it really helps. And also, if you think that your master, for instance, is not enough and that you are not strong enough in the field, you have everything on internet. You have like hundreds of courses online that you can take, even prestigious ones like Stanford courses. I remember when I was at Dauphine, this really helped me to find also the internship, because as we grew up in the AI and the years move on, the startups are more and more demanding. I see that the technical interviews are more and more hard, and you really need to be the best if you want to be taken. So yeah.
And speaking about technical interviews, like, do you remember what was the sort of prerequisite and the kind of questions you got while interviewing for Sonio, for instance?
Yeah, Sonio, it was really cool because it was not a coding interview. And I hate the coding interview because you don't have access to internet. It's really crazy because as an engineer, you have all the resources that you need. So it's really awkward. But it was more like a discussion. It was a lot of questions about technical aspects, about deep learning, architecture. And they wanted to see more about my reflection. And it wasn't bad if I didn't know really the answer. But if I was able to search and to think myself about the problem. But anyways, I needed to have a stronger background in math and computer science to understand all the questions. And
so I guess they asked also for projects you built in the past.
Yeah, for sure.
So school projects, these kind of things are super important as well. Cool. Thanks a lot. Hanna, it was great to have you on the podcast. Where can people follow you if they want to keep seeing your journey?
You're in LinkedIn, the best way.
Cool. So we'll put your LinkedIn in the description. Thanks,
Perfect.
Hanna.
Thank you very much.